We'll see what happens with that. But let's talk about the fact that Jay-Z is now officially under investigation. On top of that, Dame Dash is breaking his silence on what Jay-Z saw, Jay-Z and Diddy's disturbing behavior, and the whole Civic Association of Hell's Kitchen. The president is coming in on Jay-Z, saying that Jay-Z tried to bribe them with millions of dollars. And a lot of people said this is another play, just like he did with Barkley. Go in there, try to gain the community's trust, try to throw them a few dollars, sell them out, and leave things worse than they found it. Listen,
Jay-Z's name is being dragged into Diddy's sinking empire. And this might be the moment everything changes. The music mogul, who once seemed untouchable, is now caught in the web of a case that's been slowly unfolding for months. And with court records revealing ties that go back over 2 decades, this isn't just bad press. It's a career-ending move for Jay.
Put your Rockefeller show. Put your Rockefeller.
For years, Jay-Z and Diddy moved like kings. Their friendship was about money, image, and power. They stood side by side as the face of hip-hop's corporate takeover. From the late 90s to the early 2000s, they were untouchable. Always suited up, always flanked by models and moguls, they were the blueprint for what a hip-hop empire could look like. We saw it all unfold on red carpets, magazine covers, and sold-out stages. They celebrated together. VMAs, BET Awards, the Rock Nation brunch. You couldn't throw a camera at a major event without catching a shot of the two standing shoulder to shoulder, often flashing those billionaire grins. There was even that line Diddy dropped years ago, "Only Jay can call me Sean." That wasn't just a casual quote. That was a signal. These two weren't just colleagues, they were brothers. Or at least, that's how it looked. Then came the business side of things, a Rock and Ace of Spades, Rock Nation Sports, and Revolt TV. These weren't just parallel success stories, they were often quietly aligned, with both men supporting and amplifying each other's moves. Diddy would host, Jay would show up. Jay would drop an album, Diddy would promote it. It was seamless, but that loyalty? It's being tested now. See, as the walls close in on Diddy, whispers are getting louder that he's not trying to go down alone. With the threat of a life sentence breathing down his neck, the desperation is setting in. And when people feel the heat, they start flipping. That's the word floating through legal circles. That Diddy might be ready to cut deals, spill names, and drag down whoever he needs to in order to save himself. And Jay's name? It's already in the papers.
We are learning that Jay-Z is accused of a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy lawsuit, and the new allegations are just coming out this evening. Jay-Z is being accused of a minor along with Diddy at a MTV VMAs after party back in 2000, according to documents obtained by Fox News Digital tonight. The lawsuit, which was initially filed back in October, was refiled tonight in New York by an anonymous accuser claiming Jay-Z, whose full name is Sean Carter, her while Combs and Celebrity B watched.
Here's where things start to get disturbing. A civil lawsuit recently hit the courts, and it doesn't pull any punches. According to newly surfaced documents, both Diddy and Jay-Z are being accused of some of the most serious claims we've ever seen connected to their names. The plaintiff, now an adult, says she was just 13 years old when she was treated wrongly right after the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. She names both men directly. She even notes that Jay-Z was attending the VMAs with Beyonce, making it easy to trace movements and verify timelines. Jay's legal team moved fast. They put out a statement denying everything. According to them, Jay had no connection to what happened. But if he had nothing to do with it, why is he acting like he's got something to hide? He's been unusually quiet, especially for someone who's always controlled his narrative. He's nowhere near the spotlight, and when his name came up in the lawsuit, the lawyers responded, but Jay didn't. And let's not forget, this is a man who's made millions speaking about loyalty, trust, and real ones sticking together. But now, with this kind of allegation hanging in the air, the brotherhood that once seemed bulletproof is nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, in a recent interview, Beanie Sigel told Jay-Z, "Get out now." That's not a phrase you throw around lightly, especially when it's coming from someone like Beanie. He's not an outsider guessing from the sidelines. Beanie was right there in the thick of it during the rise, the fame, the money, and the eventual fallout of Rockefeller Records. His voice carries weight because he knows what happened behind those closed doors. Back in the early 2000s, Beanie wasn't just some rapper signed to the label. He was considered family. He was Jay-Z's muscle, the one who wrote for Rockefeller, no questions asked. When Jay needed loyalty, Beanie was there. But now, that same loyalty seems to be turning into a warning signal. And when a guy like Beanie starts sounding the alarm, it means there's more under the surface than anyone's admitting. People are starting to wonder, what exactly does Beanie know? What is he really warning Jay about? Beanie didn't name names, but his tone said it all. This wasn't some promotional stunt. This was a heads up, like he knows what Diddy might be ready to bring to the table. Something heavy, something from the past that could blow the whole game up. And let's not forget, Jay-Z and Diddy's relationship goes way back. Before Roc Nation, before Ciroc, before the platinum records and Forbes lists, there were late nights in clubs, private events, and deals no one talked about publicly. If Diddy has receipts and Beanie's words suggest he just might, then the timeline could go all the way back to the 90s, when both men were still cementing their empires. That's decades of secrets, of moments that might have seemed small at the time but could mean everything now. Beanie's not just tossing out warnings, he's lived the betrayal. And what he's hinting at? It's the kind of dirt that doesn't wash off.
I don't even think Jay was in the country, because I remember calling Jay and telling him, like, yo, what the f is going on? But like I said, it's in the music, man. Can't go on this way. If you put puppies in the oven, do they make them biscuits? For hungry dogs in the kitchen, will they eat the kids? It is all in the music, but yeah, that was a shock to me.
To understand the cracks forming now, you have to go back to 2004, when everything at Rockefeller Records started to fall apart. What was once one of the strongest labels in hip-hop began to crumble under the weight of ego, ambition, and business moves that blindsided everyone, especially the artists caught in the middle. Jay-Z and Dame Dash were once partners. Rockefeller was their baby. But when Jay was offered the presidency of Def Jam, he took it without telling Dame. That move triggered a chain reaction. Suddenly, lines were drawn. The family vibe was gone. Jay took his portion of the rock and walked into the boardroom while the rest were left wondering what happened. And Beanie was one of the biggest names on the label at the time, but when the split came, he was left in limbo. No contract clarity, no support. Shortly after, he got locked up and Jay, his so-called big brother, said nothing. That moment stuck with Beanie. For him, it wasn't just business, it was personal. And now looking at how Jay is distancing himself from Diddy while another storm brews, the pattern feels familiar. Once again, when the fire hits, Jay disappears. Jay's always been calculated, knowing when to speak and when to fall back. But when you've been involved with people like Diddy, falling back might not be enough, because silence might keep your image clean for a while, but it also creates space for the truth to catch up. But silence isn't just empty space, it's strategy. And in Jay's case, it might have been his most dangerous move yet. Now, back in 2009, Beanie Sigel dropped a diss track that caught everyone off guard. It wasn't just a song, it was a public cry of betrayal. In that track, Beanie didn't hold back. He aired out his pain, disappointment, and anger toward Jay-Z. The message was clear. Jay had all the power, and Beanie felt like he was being controlled, even punished for not falling in line. According to Beanie, Jay shelved his music, blocked opportunities, and kept him under contract. Not to help, but to make sure he didn't grow beyond what Jay allowed. That's not brotherhood, that's leverage. Around that time, Dame Dash actually stepped in and backed Beanie in court. Dame showed up to support him when no one else from Rockefeller did. That move spoke volumes. Dame, who had his own issues with Jay, clearly saw the same pattern. To him, Jay had a habit of cutting people off when they were no longer useful, or when they became a threat. Years later, Beanie would reflect on it all, and the truth hit hard. He realized Jay didn't leave him behind because of some falling out or misunderstanding. Jay left him cold because power was more important than people. Fame was more valuable than family. That moment of clarity helped fans connect the dots. It wasn't just Beanie, there was a pattern of abandonment, a strategy of staying clean by letting everyone else take the fall. If Diddy's about to flip, Jay might finally face the ghost he buried under record deals and champagne toasts. Now let's get into the heat of it. Diddy backed into a legal corner, reportedly preparing to name names to protect himself. And guess what? Jay-Z's name keeps coming up. Insiders are whispering that Diddy is ready to expose a list of high-powered figures connected to some of his darkest moments. We're talking wild 90s parties, exclusive, invite-only events where phones were taken, NDAs were signed, and reputations were built on secrecy. These weren't just parties, they were controlled environments where lines between fun, power, and exploitation blurred. And if the rumors are true, Jay was there. Not just as a guest, but as someone who allegedly helped protect the system. Covert business deals, shady partnerships, and mutual silence kept everything running smoothly for decades. But now, with lawsuits flying and feds circling, Diddy's silence has a price. And to stay out of prison, he might just pay that price by turning over names. Starting with the biggest one he knows. Fans aren't ignoring this. One user on a post wrote, "Diddy has been holding this in for years. If he goes down, he's taking everyone with him." Another person added, "Jay better lawyer up. The receipts from the 90s are probably sitting in someone's basement waiting to explode, and let's be honest, Diddy doesn't strike anyone as the kind of guy to take the fall alone. Especially not now when everything he's built is hanging by a thread." If he's got evidence, he's using it, and Jay's billion-dollar empire could be standing on quicksand if those secrets come out. The question isn't if Jay's secrets are coming out, it's when, and how loud the impact will be when they do. Because when the courtroom becomes the confessional and survival means sacrifice, no one is off limits. Hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me, do you think Hove's finally about to pay the price for the secrets he helped hide?